Cyberpunk has a lot of iconic weapons that basically give the players the amount of freedom that is not really seen in many other games. Phantom Liberty, the expansion, is not an exception to that. There's over 30 iconic weapons in the expansion, but I have bought you the 10 best iconic weapons that this expansion has brought to us. These 10 weapons should cover almost all kinds of builds that the players out there are going for, and that is why this isn't a ranked list. The only best weapon in game is probably the Order shotgun, but everything else isn't really ranked. Let's dive right into it. The first item on the list is the Order Tech Double Barrel Shotgun. This thing is a beast. You can get this at the black market vendor that you unlock as soon as you unlock Dogtown. I'm going to show you the location on screen. This guy is going to have this along with a bunch of other iconic weapons. This thing is a beast, as charging this weapon above 66% vaporizes any enemies in your path, leaving an EMP trail behind it. Basically, this EMP trail is also going to attack every other enemy that are around and then give them that shock damage and stun them. This thing is a beast in that regard, and anything above 66% and any non-boss enemy is going to be pulverized by this weapon. This thing basically goes best with any kind of build, but I would suggest you have a tank build or a Sandoestian build, because this thing takes about 2.4 to 2.4 seconds to fully charge, and that is kind of irritating because you are still susceptible to damage in that time period. Or you could just go with the tank build like I do and then just shoot through enemies while standing right in front of them and taking damage as well. Anything, you do you. The one thing that I would suggest, and in cyberware particularly, that you should have is heal on kill, because you're gonna be killing a lot of enemies while taking damage. So having that will help, as each and every kill will in turn heal you, which will basically mean that all the damage that you take will be nullified while you start killing enemies, and that is gonna go really well with this weapon. Next up on the list, we have another beast, the Deserter Power Double Barrel Shotgun. This thing you can get at a location directly as soon as you open Dogtown. All you have to do is go to the location, enter the code that is shown here on the screen, and then just go in and steal the gun. That's all you'll have to do for this. This thing has a pretty unique, iconic perk as well. Every enemy that you neutralize engulfs you in flames. Basically, what it does is it applies burn on V on your character, and that can be used pretty innovatively if you think about it. All you have to do is use the shock and awe cyberware. It's available at the Ripper Dog that's shown on the screen right now. That thing has a 10% chance of applying 500 shock damage to enemies around you for every point of damage that you take. And since burn is basically damage over time, it's guaranteed to activate once this thing gets onto you. So use this in tandem with that. But other things to note would be that this thing has a 20% burn chance and 15 number of projectiles. So anybody who is shot with this weapon is guaranteed to get a burn chance. But most people are going to die in a single shot because this thing has over 700 damage once it's fully upgraded, or over 600 on its initial phase. So most people are going to get out with just a single shot, but if they don't get killed, then this thing is going to apply burning onto them, which is then going to take off all of their life anyways. Next up on the list, we have these. This thing you can only get if you take the side of Songbird in Firestarter. You'll get it right after you take your side. Basically, you have to escape from that stadium. While you do, you will get the weapon. It's going to be on one of the boss level enemies that you encounter as soon as you escape the lab. This thing's iconic perk is really good. It basically, the hits against a knockdown enemy increases attack speed and your strong attacks deal more damage. So this thing goes really well with the Crime Stopper. That thing, if you shoot them on the legs with that, that is gonna knock enemies down, and then you can just start going nuts on them with Murphy's Law to get that maximum damage. These two go very well in tandem, and they could go really well with a Sandwestian build, a tank build, or even a Berserker build as well. This thing has a 20% bleeding chance, a 20% stun chance, and a 20% shock chance. So there are other ways you can use this as well. This goes really well with the Quake build. I mean, the Quake skill that you get at the body skill tree, and some kind of build that's made after that, like a tank build. Like usually, I've seen people use a tank build along with the Quake ability. This should go really well there as well, as the Quake ability affects multiple enemies. Some of them are gonna leave with the bleeding, stun, or shock on them. So this thing is a beast in that regard. Next up on the list we have Her Majesty, the only pistol in this list. There's a pretty good reason for that. The way you get this is completing the Get It Together main quest, and that is gonna give you this weapon. Alex is gonna offer this weapon to you at the end of the quest. It's basically an unmissable weapon. You can't progress the mission if you don't really take this thing. What makes this thing so special is its iconic perk. While optical camo is active, this weapon shot gain perfect accuracy and guaranteed headshot crits along with increased damage. So if you are going for a stealth Sandy Westian build, this thing is basically the go-to weapon. All you have to do is activate your optical camo, activate your Sandy Westian, and then just go nuts, because you're going to be in optical camo throughout, and each and every single headshot has increased damage and guaranteed critical damage as well. So each headshot should be able to take on most enemies. So all you have to do is activate optical camo, go into Sandy Westian, and then just start shooting people in the head, and they're all gonna die, drop like flies. Next up on the list we have Hawk Power Assault Rifle. This thing is the weapon that Myers, the newest president, uses, the white gun that she carries around. You can get this once the Who Wants to Live Forever main quest is unlocked for you. All you have to do after that is go to the hideout that's there in Dogtown, and it's going to be there right to the right side of the entrance on the wall. Just put there. You can just collect it after that. This thing has a pretty unique iconic perk. Headshots temporarily weaken enemies and mark them. And in this weakened state, enemies move slower, they cannot use any of their abilities, they deal lesser damage, and are prone to losing their balance. This thing goes perfectly with most tech weapons, because as soon as you just do one headshot, these people are going to be moving slow and they'll probably just fall behind cover. And since they're marked, you can shoot through cover using tech weapons. The one I would suggest is the RAIJU's tech submachine gun that's there on this list. That thing can shoot through obstacles without even charging, so that would be perfect to go with this weapon. All you'd have to do is like basically shoot the enemy on the head, wait for them to take cover, and then shoot through the cover to kill them. That's basically it. This thing is overpowered that way. The other thing you would also do is basically attacking your enemies using quick hacks and stuff. As this thing marks enemies, even if they hide, you could just still highlight them and then hit them with a quick hack quickly. Since they're already in the weakened state, they should take more damage and they will be killed off pretty easily using some of the high level quick hacks that are available in the game. Next up on the list we have VOLKODAV. This is the second melee weapon on the list and the only blade melee weapon on the list. This thing is available to you when you complete the waiting for Dodger gate. This thing is going to be available to you right as you rescue the police officers and start taking them outside to their car. This thing has a pretty unique iconic perk as such. This thing has 33% burn chance. So any unique burn that this thing causes will increase the crit damage when you shoot that enemy. and the more enemies that have been simultaneously affected by this burn, the more crit damage you deal. So if you're someone who's going after max tag or just wants to attack boss enemies and having a tough time with it, this weapon is your go-to. All you have to do is make sure you attack enough of them till this burning thing activates, and then start shooting them to get all of that sweet crit damage that you can get because of this weapon. And it basically goes well with anything that has high crit damage. Next up on the list we have the RAIJU Tech submachine gun. You can get this in one of those increased criminal activity areas. At the end of the increased criminal activity areas, you're gonna find this weapon. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below. This thing has a pretty good iconic perk onto it. The shots that you shoot do not require to be charged to penetrate obstacles, and headshots have a greater crit chance. So all you have to do is use this in tandem with the ping quick hack. Just use the ping quick hack, which is going to highlight where the enemies are, and then shoot through their cover to hit them, and then kill them while you yourself remain safely behind cover. You can also use this really well with the Hawk assault rifle. The Hawk assault rifle is the weapon that Myers uses. She's going to leave it behind for you once she leaves the city. Why that goes well with this is because the headshots with using the Hawk can mark the enemy and weaken them. So they usually just go behind cover once you hit them with the Hawk thing. So you can use this right after that and then shoot through the cover to kill them. These two work really well together as well. And also again the ping quick hack if you don't really want to use the Hawk power assault rifle. Next up on the list we have RASETSU, our only sniper rifle of the list. It's a tech sniper rifle that's available to you while you're doing the You Know My Name main story quest. This thing is an unmissable weapon, so if you've done all of the main story quests in the game, you're gonna get this weapon for sure. What makes it special is its iconic perk. Charged rounds now penetrate through enemies and will bend their trajectory to hit multiple enemies simultaneously. So if you're in stealth mode and you need to take out 4 to 5 enemies in quick succession, this thing is going to be your go-to. All you have to do is shoot one enemy and then the bullets are going to pass through all of the enemies in close proximity. So that is going to be really good for you. The skills that go really well with this would have to be the sniper rifle skill tree that's available in the pool skill trees, and the tech rifle skill tree that's available to you in the technical ability skill trees. So these two, just go there, check out all of the perks that are available, and then think about what you think will go best with your playstyle, and then just select those perks. Any of those should go really well with this weapon. Next up on the list we have Crime Stopper. This is the only smart weapon on this list, and there's a really good reason for that. You can get this by starting the gig heaviest of hearts, or by just going to the location and then swiping the weapon there. This thing's iconic perk is really good. All rounds have a chance to disable cyber limbs, immobilizing the enemy and increasing crit damage. Crit chance is momentarily increased after equipping this weapon. What this basically means is if you shoot people on their legs and stuff, these people are going to be immobilized, and then you can just kill them off right after that. This goes really well with Murphy's Law because that thing deals more damage on enemies that are knocked down, and this thing is the king of knocking down enemies. So all you have to do is equip those two weapons, shoot the people on the limbs with this one, and then hit them when they're down to get the maximum damage out of this.
Didn't sign up for this shit!
Next up at the end of the list we have KYUBI X Mod 2. This thing is available in the middle of Dogtown. All you need to do is go to the intersection that is right in front of the main entrance to Dogtown, and this weapon will be in a swimming pool right in the bottom of the swimming pool. This is basically the only thing that doesn't really have an iconic perk per se. The iconic perk says as follows: a special version of the weapon capable of additional modification. Optimized design also allows for improved handling. So the weapon handling of this thing is really good. The effective range of the weapon is really good. The damage for a power assault rifle per shot is also really good, but the rest of it is going to be depending on the mods you can have. There's quite a few weapons that actually allow you to add mods in 2.0 as such. Any no iconic weapons actually let you add mods anymore. There's quite a few weapons only, like maybe like 3 or 4 of them that actually let you do this. So I just wanted to add this to the list for those of you out there who are looking for a personal customization option rather than something that the weapon already comes with. This weapon is the go-to for that. It's gonna have a scope slot, a muzzle slot, and also 2 mod slots. I usually go with the newly unlocked mods that come with the Phantom Liberty expansion. Those things are really good. The power assault mod that goes really well with this. It'll give that shoots explosive rounds thing to this. You can only get that after defeating the Chimera, and like basically if you have access to this weapon, you've already done that, so you can just grab that immediately after you get this weapon and then put that onto this weapon as well. The other mod could be something that goes with critical damage, or something that adds more of a burn chance, or anything that you think would go well with this. You should just add that onto the other slot and you've got the perfect weapon. These are the top 10 weapons that I think Phantom Liberty introduces into the game. These should go with any build that you might be using. Do hit up that comment section if you think I missed something. And please do hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed the video, as it goes a long way to supporting the channel. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.